Hi, everybody. I'm Wang with Constellation Research. I'm here with Ely Greenfield. He is the CTO at Adobe looking at digital experiences. So, hey, let's get started and let's talk about this really hot announcement. And if we think about hot, there is nothing hotter than generative AI. So, what are you guys talking about? What's hot? What's being announced?
So Ray, we're making a big announcement today, which is the availability of a public beta of Adobe Firefly. So
Ooh, what a
Adobe
great name.
Firefly is our new creative generative AI model, or family of models, I should say. We're releasing one model today. Eventually, it will be a family of models. But this first one is focused on image generation, text image generation, and then some features built around that, like text effects, which are
Ooh,
really exciting new ways you can use this stuff. And what's really unique about Firefly, about this first model that we're releasing, is it is designed to be safe for commercial use. So
what
what
do
we've
you
done
mean by
is,
safe for commercial use?
that's a great question. So when we talk to customers out there about generative AI and whether they're using it today, what we hear across the board is that they're really interested in the technology and integrating into their workflows, but they have all these questions about copyright issues and legality and fairness and IP, and are they going to get sued because something got generated in their content? And so they just don't feel like, in commercial work, they can adopt this stuff today. So what we've done is we've trained Firefly on a very carefully controlled data set, which consists primarily of Adobe stock content, which is a very highly moderated, large database of high quality images, and openly sourced, openly licensed content, and also public domain content, which is content where the copyright has already lapsed. So that means that Firefly really can't generate IP from other brands or users that you wouldn't want showing up in your content.
So technology will no longer be a limit to my imagination. So I can say Andy Warhol cans meets metaverse dinosaurs plus I want Monet Starry Night image, right? And I'm able to get something cool that comes out of that.
Yeah, well, that brings up a really good point, because when you mention Andy Warhol, or let's take another artist, let's say I'm a great artist, a famous artist, and you say Ely Greenfield painting, right?
Yeah.
That's something you can do with a lot of the technology that's out there today. And frankly, there's a lot of questions about that, right? The creative community, not just the creative community, but the business community, the lawyers, right? There's a lot of questions around the copyright issues here, around the legal issues here, around the fairness issues, right? Like, does Andy Warhol or his estate, how do they feel about the fact that you're now generating images in his style? And so these questions are things that have limited a lot of the creative community and just people who need to create content in general from being able to adopt these technologies, because they just don't feel like this stuff is really safe to use now. So one of the big differentiators with Firefly is that we've designed it to be commercially safe. And yeah, the other piece is we're integrating content authenticity into it. So, there's a number of questions people have, not just the creatives, but the world at large, about what the impact of generative AI is. What does it mean that content is being created with AI? What can I trust? And then other questions around, again, what's being trained on for an artist? How can I control my content? And so we have this initiative that we started a few years ago, the Content Authenticity Initiative. It's an open effort. We've got 900 member organizations involved. We produce open source and open standards that meant to drive, through this technology called content credentials, we drive provenance. So the whole goal is to shine a light on how images were created, how content was created, and let the consumer see that information and make decisions about how to use it, who to trust, what to do with it. So there's two ways we're extending content authenticity. We're allowing designers to use the CAI, use content credentials to tag their images with "do not train," which is a request to
Huge.
AI providers.
Huge. So
Please respect not training this data. That's something we will be respecting with Firefly, and we'll be encouraging other industry providers to do the same. And the other
you
is,
oh,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go
I was
ahead.
going to say the other is generated content that comes out of Firefly will be marked with a tag that identifies generative AI was used in the creation of this image. And again, we'll be encouraging other industry providers and partners to do the same as well, using the open standards, so that everybody has some confidence and they can make decisions about what was generated, what wasn't, and what do they do with that.
That's awesome. You are creator friendly is really what you're saying right now. And you're really
Exactly.
protecting the creators, empowering the creators, especially given what could happen with digital content and how crazy that could go. So let's
Yeah.
talk about that as well on the creator side. What's the monetization model for creators? And I mean, how do they get compensated?
It's a great question. It's a big question that creators obviously have had with the technology that's out there today. There's a lot of other generative models that are built by going out and scraping content off the internet. And a lot of creators feel like, okay, maybe that's not fair. Maybe they're participating in the creation of this stuff, but they're not getting compensated. So we think it's really important that creators get compensated fairly for their work. We already have a whole process in place with our stock, Adobe stock, where we invite contributors to put their content in, and then we compensate them when people license it. And we'll be extending that model in some ways, details TBD, to make sure that when creators contribute their content to be trained on by Firefly, they'll be able to be compensated in some way when it gets used. So those details are things we're still working out, and we'll share more as we get closer to GA. For the beta, we're releasing it right now, not for commercial use, so we can get that feedback going.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So a lot of talk about generative AI, open AI, other models. Is this a response to what's going on in the marketplace, or is this something you guys have been doing for some time?
No, this is a response really to our customers. Like I said, we've been doing AI and some generative AI. The technology's not new; it has evolved recently, but we've been putting that stuff in our products, like I said, for over a decade at this point. And so we're really excited to see how it's evolved. We've been watching the technology evolve. Some of our researchers have been publishing some of the papers that this stuff is based on. But as we talk to creatives, we heard a lot of these questions. What we heard was they really want to be able to use it, but they're not sure about all these issues around copyright and legality and fairness. So this is a response to them, and in providing them with the technology that they can take advantage of. Because we really do believe that it's the AI plus creatives working together that's going to be able to create the content in the future.
No, and you guys have been doing AI ML for quite some time with Sensei. That's like, what, about a decade ago that you've been doing this?
I think it's about right. So, I don't know when the Sensei name came in, but we've doing AI creative content for, probably about a decade.
So are you guys going to build models like ChatGPT or diffusion type models as well, like stable diffusion type models?
Sure. So Firefly is a diffusion model. The first model that we're releasing as part of Firefly is a diffusion model, and it's been built in house,
Yep.
Based on research we've done, based on the community research as well. But it's built entirely in house. On the text side, we'll be integrating generative AI text models, so-called large language models, across our products as well. We're announcing that we're integrating them into digital experience products, into creative cloud products. Eventually, they'll come to document cloud. So lots of exciting opportunities about how we'll integrate those into our products. There, we're sort of taking a large language model agnostic approach. So we'll look at each individual feature and use case where we think we can provide real value to customers, and we'll find the right language model to use there. So, we're looking at models, ChatGPT from our partners, Microsoft with the Microsoft Azure OpenAI services, but we're also building features on top of Flan T5, which is an open source language model out there. And we're looking at other ones as well.
And these services, can I get them in other Adobe products? It'll be like an AEM, for example?
Yeah, so all of these services will probably be surfacing eventually across all of these products. Initially, Firefly will be launching in Express. Well, we're launching the beta in the web for people to come play with. The initial products that will show up will be Photoshop, Illustrator, Express, but we'll also have them show up in AEM as well. Pretty much any place that people are using content, we want to make it possible for people to be able to use, find, create, generate, edit content, and be able to move sort of at the speed that content velocity is working at today.
No, that's great, right? I mean, the enterprise folks are looking for an AEM, Journey Optimizer, Journey Analytics, and Marketo and Gauge. So it's going to be pretty powerful. So this is the question we get a lot. How do I know that generative AI won't replace us on the show? Like, it'll be my bot versus your bot, my avatar versus your avatar. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I honestly don't see that happening. What this is doing is definitely putting a tool in the hands of content creators of every stripe, whether you're a high-end professional, an everyday content communicator, a consumer just creating content for your own fun. Like, this is another tool. And we've been building tools for creators for years now. And we think that this tool in the hands of creators will be incredibly powerful. And the reality is right now, the volume of content is just continuing to explode. Whether it's people doing videos or video chats like we're doing here, or marketing content, or consumer content, or high-end entertainment content, the volume is just going up. And I think AI and ML is going to be a tool that helps us keep up. I don't think it's going to ever overtake the creativity that a creator brings to the table.
It's like infinite creativity with a content explosion meets, content velocity all at once, right? We're operating at machine scale, and you guys are using workflows to help us bring it back to human scale. This is actually pretty interesting. Talk more about the workflows and how Firefly works directly into workflows.
Sure. So with the beta we're launching next week, like I said, we're putting it in a web page that anybody can come and sign up for the beta and start to interact with it. Those web pages allow you to generate content you can download and bring into our tools. And we see a lot of customers, already doing that in our private betas, where they bring this stuff into Photoshop or Express or AEM, wherever they need it. But really where we think this stuff gets exciting is when we're going to integrate directly into the tools and directly into those actual customer workflows. So, like I said, today, whether it's editing a layer or doing content aware fill in Photoshop or trying to insert a composite an image into your composition, Gen AI can help with that. If you're generating a new piece of vector content and you've sketched it out on a piece of paper, we can help you take that directly into vectors in Illustrator that you can then go edit further. There's across the board lots of different places where we can generate ingredients or help with the editing process using this generative AI, and that's stuff that you're going to see coming from us for weeks and months to come.
Okay, let's talk about responsible and ethical AI. What are you guys doing there?
Yeah, this is obviously a really big discussion topic across the industry as a whole, across the world as a whole. We've been doing AI for years. We've had a lot of time to develop our processes and our principles here. So we have a very strong process by which we review every piece of functionality and feature that we put out for transparency, accountability, and ethics. And we do the same with generative AI. So we spent a lot of time looking internally at the content that we generate, the prompts that people can put in, and making sure that we're not introducing bias or unintentional harm in the content we're creating. And so as much technology as we've put into these generative models, there's probably just as much technology around them to make sure that we are representing a wider range of cultures, ethnicities, genders, personalities, you name it, and not accidentally introducing bias or harm into the content the user's trying to create.
Really cool. Hey, we're going to lightning round. Question you might not be ready for. So talk about your favorite dystopian AI movie ever. We'll start there. So.
Oh man, God, dystopian is a funny word. This is a strange one, but Children of Man, is that what it was called? Children of Men?
It was Children of Men, yeah.
There's the one about how the human race had stopped being able to reproduce.
Yep.
That was, maybe is it AI? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm always a big fan of the Terminator, which is going back and forth. Somewhere in between those two.
No, that's really good. Children of Men, I think it is. You're right. You're completely right. So that's a very hot one. All right, cool. What is, what's a sneak peek I should know about? What's hot in this year's sneak peek demo?
Oh man, if I tell you about a sneak peek, it's not a sneak anymore, is it?
All right, you can't tell me because this might be done before the recording. So
yeah,
right.
I'll say is, I think everything I threw out there about those things we're working on, some of those are going to land, before we get to Max. Some of them are going to be there, but all the new workflows out there about how you can generate all sorts of content types is definitely what we're going to see next year.
All right, if you could demonstrate a prompt, which one would you demonstrate? And are you using a prompt marketplace? Those are freaking awesome. Those prompt marketplaces.
There are prompt marketplaces out there. I'll tell you, what we're really excited about actually is if you extrapolate prompt marketplace out, is the idea of generative AI being a way that we can connect high skill, basically connect the world of creators, where creators can be helping each other, whether it's providing a prompt or some of the technology that that we're working on and evolving for the future is allowing me as a creator who maybe has developed a particular style to be able to license that to you, Ray. If you want to generate an image in my style, like we can create a marketplace that allow me to license that to you for you to use at an individual image. So we get past this concern that as a creator, I may worry that people are mimicking my style without my control, and actually make it a collaborative experience where everybody benefits.
Got it. And I want that in my Behance profile. So
yeah,
this exactly. Is awesome. We are here with Ely Greenfield and Adobe talking about some of the new announcements in Firefly, the new generative AI offering from Adobe, available now, not vaporware. It is real. So you can pick it up and definitely look for it soon. So thanks a lot.
Great. Thanks, Ray.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Take care.